Hi, my name is Nurhani binti Muhammad Halizi and my metric number is 207448.
Hello, my name is Nurhidayah Abdi Shamsuddin and my metric number is 206205.
Hi, my name is Yang Yusong Hui and my metric number is 208873.
Hello, I'm Gao Jiaming. My metric number is 204796.
So today we are going to discuss about the poem named To Autumn by John Keats, which written in 1819. So what do you guys know about this poem?
We can explain the meaning of each stanza first.
Okay, sure.
And I can describe the meaning of first stanza. We can see it mainly describes about autumn. Autumn, the season associated with myths and general sense of calm abundance. You are an intimate friend of the sun, whose heat and light helps all these fruits and vegetables grow. You work closely with the sun to make lots of fruit grow on the vines that wrap around the roof edges of the farmhouses. You work to make so much fruit grow that it weighs down the branches of the mossy apple trees that grow outside the farmhouses. Together, you and the sun make every fruit completely ripe. You make ground swell and Hansel's shells grow fat with a sweet nut inside. You make the flowers grow new buds and keep growing more. And when these buds bloom, bees gather the flowers' pollen. These bees think your warmth will last forever because summer brought so many flowers and so much pollen that the bee hives are now overflowing with honey. And the first stanza merely describe about the autumn color. And at the beginning of the poem, the poet describes the autumn scene with full enthusiasm, taking the reader's eyes from the clear blue sky to the eaves hung with vines, from the old trees in front of the house to the mature fields. And the poet focuses on the ripening fruits of autumn with the singing bees and late blooming flowers. Okay, that's all for stanza 1. Who can continue?
Okay, actually I read the point and I can continue about the second one and the third one stanza. Okay.
Okay.
The second stanza is about autumn people, and in my opinion, the first one is about the colors of autumn. The second stanza is about autumn people. Autumn people sit on the well house and sleep soundly in the half-cut field. The harvest and warmth are portrayed through the images of people. These images are centered on people, forming a warm picture of the harvest. And the second stanza is about the song of autumn. In this stanza, we can see a spectacular scene of the sun setting and melting gold. Autumn is transformed into many specific creatures, like flying insects, flocks of sheep, crickets. However, in this glorious autumn light, we clearly hear the sad sound of nature's creatures, bemoaning the brevity of autumn and the approaching cold, as flocks of swallows are busy migrating to the warm south to escape the cold weather. This is my opinion about these two stanzas.
Okay, so based on your explanations, I can say that in the first stanzas, the writer concentrates on the sights of autumn, And the second stanza, the authors emphasize is on the characteristics, activities of autumn. And the last one is about the sounds of autumns. I mean, to his ears, the sounds produced by animals and birds are music, and it is just as sweet as the music of spring. Is it correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. So, what about the subject of this poem? Does anyone does that?
Subject.
Yeah, or maybe we could move on to the theme first, because I think subject and theme are kind of similar to me. So maybe we could do the theme first. Does anyone have any opinions about the theme of this poem? Hidayah, what about you?
In my opinion, after I read the poem, I think the main theme of the whole poem is about the beauty of nature, because I believe in the poem, the writer, which is John Keats, mainly talks and describes the beauty of nature in detail, such as the sound of birds, the songs of autumn and spring. So yeah, I believe the main theme of the whole poem is about the beauty of nature itself.
I also agree with that, because after reading about this poem, I also thought that the power of nature is one of the theme of this poem. And also, I think other than the power of nature, it's also the beauty of nature. It could be the beauty of nature.
Yeah, because John Keats mainly talks about that, right? About birds
Yeah.
and then weather. So yeah.
So do we agree that that could be the theme of this poem?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, so we can conclude that the power and the beauty of nature is the theme for these two autumn poem. Okay, so now moving on to the language use. Does anyone knows about language use for this language use for this poem? Sorry. What about Yang?
Maybe Jiamin can go first.
Uh,
I can appreciate the theme of stanza 2 later.
Theme, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe you can go first.
Oh, okay.
We are talking about the theme.
And in stanza 2, autumn is personified as the harvester, crosses the brook and watches the cider press, and the furrow is half reaped. The winnowed hair refers to ripe grain still standing, and apple cider is still being pressed. And however, the end of the cycle is near. The press is squeezing out the late oozing, and Keats, the author of this poem, he described a reaper here. And I think maybe personification here is very successful. It gives autumn a personality, and autumn is no longer abstract. But however, Keats died shortly after he finished To Autumn. So I think the poem is more about Keats' impending death, and autumn is followed by a brutal and harsh winter. So it's a romantic poem about missed opportunities and the joy of gains. It is in sharp contrast to the pain of the author's daily life at this time, and the beauty of the second stanza is strong and clear, but I think it hides the author's sign for the for the for the flight of time and his helplessness for the coming winter. Maybe that's my opinion.
Well, I want to continue about the second stanza. And actually, I find three image, like visual image, olfactory image, and tactile image. The visual image, like Fee sitting careless on a granary floor, the half repeat funeral trimmed flowers, the last audience, and the olfactory image like the family of poppies, and the tactile image like the sound, the wind. When the reader reads this point, autumn is no longer abstract, but con- but concrete autumn that can be seen and touched, which depends the reader's visual impression of the beauty of autumn. And what's more, I want to share about the emotional attitude later.
Okay, thank
Just to add on, we're talking about poetry devices, right? Because before
yeah,
this,
right now.
Benjamin talks about imagery. I want to add two things which I found in stanza 1. The first poetry device that I found is personification, which means when an author gives a human tribute to something that is not alive, which is can be seen from stanza 1, line 1, close bosom friend of the maturing sun, and also line 3, conspiring with him how to load and bless. This is considered as personification, I believe, because autumn is a weather. It does not have feelings, nor can it has friends. So I think that gives a giving a human tribute to a weather is considered as a personification. And the second poetry devices that I found is pathetic fallacy, which is quite similar to personification, but pathetic fallacy is much more specific, which pathetic fallacy means when something that is not alive is given a tribute of human emotions. So in stanza 1, line 10, which is until they think warm days will never cease, I believe that it is a pathetic fallacy because the warm days in a way means that warm days means happiness, if that makes sense in a way. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's all
that
from me
makes
for
sense.
poetry devices. I hope you guys can understand.
I can understand it. Thank you, Hidayah.
Okay.
I also want to add some more under the poetry devices. The first one is the image. The image that I found from this poem is visual imagery in the first stanza. Um, I found that the writer used visual imagery with words like the granary floor, plum the hazel shells, and full-grown lambs. Um, like these three are the live images that I found from the stanza, which falls under visual imagery. And the next thing that I want to talk about is the metaphor. Um, the metaphor is a trope in which a word or phrase is transfused from its literal meaning to stand for something else. Like it compares two objects or two things without using words like or as. For example, soft dying day that I found. Okay, I think that's all from me under the poetry devices.
Then next, can we start talking about the structure of poem?
Sure.
As for structure of poem, since structure is something that is not abstract, I found that this poem has 11 lines in each stanzas, and based on what I read on my research, if it has 11 lines in a stanzas, it is called ronde. And this poem has 3 stanzas. Also, in this poem, each stanzas can be divided into 3 units, which is the first 4 lines, which can be called the quatrain, has a normal rhyming scheme, which is A, B, A, B, and then the next 7 lines. And then at the end of each stanzas, there is a rhyming couplets, which are line 9 and 10. And for the whole poem, for the actual rhyming scheme, for stanza 1, it's A, B, A, B, C, D, E, D, C, C, E. However, for stanza 2 and 3, there is a little bit of difference, which is A, B, A, B, C, D, E, C, D, D, E. So that is all that I found for the structure of poem. Anyone wants to add anything?
I think it's very clear.
All right, good to know.
Yeah. Do you want to add anything?
I think maybe we can talk about our feeling about after reading this poem. I think to often deal with the presence of nature and how autumn itself is more significant than any of the other seasons. And what most caught my attention was the infinite number of images you can imagine by reading it. It seems that the author describes what he imagined, and while reading it, I can create a beautiful picture in my mind. It takes me back to his farm. I can clearly see what he's seeing. I think it's really great.
Well, in my opinion, I think that a deeper reading could suggest that the point want to talk about the progress of life. And autumn symbolizes maturity in human and animals' lives. Anyone want to add something?
As for me, my own personal interpretation of the poem, I see it as a consolation for a person. It's like, especially on the third stanza, the last one, I really like it when John Keats wrote, "Where are the songs of spring? Where are they? Think not of them, though hast thy music too." Makes me feel like, even though it makes me feel like we should prioritize ourselves, even though other people may have more than us, because we still have our own beauty. Something like that. That's just my own personal interpretation. But I don't know about you guys. How about others?
As for me, things that I want to talk about this poem after reading it. First, it kind of reminds me of a song. I don't know what song, but it seems like this is something that you can use to sing. And then this poem has lots of new words for me. That's kind of hard to understand at first. I need to read this poem more and more, and even use dictionary to find the meanings and to understand this poem. So far, this is like the hardest poem that I have read. And it's quite challenging for me to recognize all the things that we discussed about. But I believe that this poem has a beautiful meaning behind it, and it was well written by someone. That's all from me.
I think it's a very beautiful poem too.
Yeah.
And I searched the dictionary. I find too many old English in it, like THEE, you, it means like this.
Yeah.
THY, right?
Mm-hmm. It's like it took me so long to understand it.
Yeah.
I don't even understand it 100%.
See, me too, honestly. But I tried.
Yeah. So I think that's all for our discussion, for our first discussion about this poem. What do you guys think? Do you guys want to add some more?
No, that's all.
I think that's all from me too.
Yeah, that's all
Okay.
from me.
So that's all from us.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.